How's it going, Starseekers? My name's Gotcake and welcome to Star Wars Shovelware. In this review I'm going to be taking a look at a puzzle game called Zenge. Originally released for iOS and Android, Zenge sees you manipulating polygons in various ways to fit them together so that they'll fill an outlined shape in each puzzle. The story of the game follows a lone individual known as Eon, and each completion of a puzzle provides an image which illustrates his journey through strange worlds and Eon's interactions with its inhabitants. So the game provides us no instructions on how to play and begins with a very simple puzzle. Here we move this first shape along the line to fill its outline. The game's title is then displayed and we move on to the next puzzle by pressing ZR. The first few puzzles introduce additional shapes and we begin to learn the basic rules of puzzles in Zenge. Shapes must travel along designated lines and they can't pass through each other. As we continue to solve puzzles which increase in complexity, we see Eon's journey progress through the abstract world, as he rides on floating shapes and lands on an orange sphere which opens up to reveal a doorway. After passing through the doorway, we're then introduced to our first new mechanic, which sees us connecting two shapes together. This allows us to bridge gaps between shapes and complete the puzzle. The levels preceding this expand on the shape connecting mechanics further, showing that edges featuring a coloured outline can be linked and that we can connect multiple shapes together. We also learn that we can't just crash shapes into each other along a line to connect them. We must ensure that they align where two shapes would naturally stop. As before, these mechanics are put to good effect, increasing the complexity of puzzles. As we continue onward completing puzzles and watching Eon's story unfold, the game gradually introduces more and more mechanics which we must learn to use in order to solve puzzles. Firstly, we have the shape flip mechanic indicated by these icons. When we place a shape over these icons, we can press ZR to flip a shape, either horizontally or vertically depending on the icon, and sometimes we must do both in order to get a shape to face the right direction. Our next new mechanic is teleportation. We can move shapes between portals marked by these circle icons, and puzzles often feature multiple portals. Now as each new mechanic is introduced, puzzles incorporate both these and previous mechanics to increase puzzle complexity and encourage you to master them before something new is added into the mix. We next learn about shape rotators. As the name suggests, these allow us to rotate shapes in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, and as before, shapes can't be rotated through each other. Our fifth mechanic is the size changer. When placed over these, we can hit ZR to shrink or grow a shape, and this allows it to pass through smaller gaps or enables us to move shapes past each other. The final feature to be introduced are switches. These are colour coded and come in red, green, blue or yellow variants. Some shapes feature a coloured square on them which match the colour of a switch, and these can be moved and placed on a switch of the matching colour to activate it. Doing this lights up deactivated lines in the puzzle, allowing them to be used to move shapes along them, and sometimes you need to activate multiple switches to enable lines. Some shapes also have more than one coloured square on them, enabling them to activate several different coloured switches. So I've covered all the different mechanics that you'll encounter in the game. So I'll now talk a little bit about my gameplay experience and opinions of Zenge. To begin with, there was a little bit of trepidation going into the game, knowing that it had been ported from a mobile game. There's been a lot of shitty mobile ports to hit the eShop lately, but thankfully I can say Zenge isn't one of them. And in fact, it's one of the most enjoyable puzzle games I've played. The puzzle variety, gameplay mechanics, artwork and music come together to form a game which is simply a joy to play. Now it won't tax your brain as much, nor does it have the variety of something like The Witness, but Zenge isn't designed to be like that. Following Eon's story is as much a part of the Zenge experience as the puzzles themselves, which for the most part I didn't find particularly challenging. There were a few trickier ones that took me a little longer to solve, but generally Zenge is a very relaxing puzzle game which I think both gamers new to the genre and puzzle game lovers like myself will enjoy. Now there are a couple of minor issues with the game that I want to point out. Firstly, the controls in the game are a bit fiddly if you're using the analog sticks to manipulate shapes. Being a mobile port, it was originally designed for touch controls, and sometimes it's a pain to select the right shape or move them along lines. In the puzzle shown on my screen now, my shape simply wouldn't move to the left, and I had to undock my switch and use its touchscreen to move the shape. Thankfully this was the one and only time I had to do this, and you do eventually get used to the sensitivity of the thumbsticks. My second minor issue is that the music in the game, which is a wonderful blend of ambient, piano and acoustic genres, would occasionally just stop altogether for some unknown reason, which leaves you just playing in silence. Beyond those two issues though, there's nothing else I can really criticise, apart from maybe the game's length, which is still at least a couple of hours depending on the speed at which you solve the puzzles. So now we come to rating the game. Now I rate games between 1 and 5 stars, with the shovelware stamp of approval reserved for only the worst eShop indie titles. This rating is based on my own personal opinion on what games have to offer in terms of gameplay and value for money to potential buyers. And for a rating I'd give Zenge 4 out of 5 stars. It's a great little puzzle game and I would highly recommend that you play it if you're a fan of the genre, and considering the gameplay experience that Zenge offers and the game's price, I think that it's well worth adding to your collection. You can get the game currently discounted on the UK Switch eShop for £1.25, or from the US eShop for $1.99. Alternatively, the game's also available on iOS, Android and Steam. And that's it for this review of Zenge. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed it and let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. And as always, consider subscribing to the channel to keep up to date with new Switch indie game reviews uploaded every few days. For now though, I just want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, game on.